Good morning and welcome back to the reading of Because of Mr. Terupt. This morning we've got a couple of special items. Obviously Diego, the most special, I know. But we've also got a mug from Nashville, Tennessee. Now this was picked up on a trip to the Grand Ole Opry, which is a famous place where a lot of music was played. Very hot coffee, very delicious. And even more special, we've got dog. Now, my wife named this stuffed animal dog when she was your age. This was her childhood stuffed animal, and she used to make it talk to her. I don't know if you do the same. I think it's adorable. Dog is going to join us for the read aloud today. And we got another version. In one of the previous videos, I filmed with the blue blanket with birds on it. Today we're going to film with the orange, pinkish blanket with the birds on it. If you're wondering why we have two of the same blankets just in different colors, I don't know either. It's a good question. Alright, last we left off, we were just starting January. This is Jessica's chapter. Act 6, Scene 1. Anna's house was small but cozy. Just the right size for her and her mother. It was painted white with gray shutters, and there was a nice front porch. Anna met us there. We said our hellos, and before I knew it, my mom was shaking hands with Terry. That's Anna's mom. Terry invited my mom for a cup of coffee, and they disappeared into the kitchen. Anna led me to her bedroom. I hope our moms become friends, I said. Me too, Anna said. My mom doesn't have any friends. Neither does mine, I thought. In California, my dad was always the one working and socializing while my mom hung out with me. We didn't see him much. Even back then, he was very busy. He called the other day and asked Mom if she'd received the divorce papers. And that was it. He didn't even ask to talk to me. You're reading Belle Teal? I said to Anna. I saw that book sitting on her nightstand. Do you like it? Oh, I do, Anna said. Mom brought it home for me from the library where she works. I didn't know Terry worked in the library. How exciting. I wanted to talk to her about books, and then Anna told me that her mother was taking some art classes. She showed me some of her mom's artwork. Amazing. I immediately thought of Danielle and hoped she would get a chance to come meet Terry and discover for herself the connection that they shared. After that, Anna showed me the rest of her books and her rock collection. Then I taught her how to make worry dolls, something I'd learned about from one of the characters in a book I'd read. I figured the dolls could worry about my dad because I was done with all that worrying. Our playdate was perfect, and it flew by like a day at the amusement park. We said our thank yous and goodbyes and agreed to do it again. Driving home, Mom said, "What you heard about Terry was right. Poor girl." I stayed quiet. After seeing Terry myself, I knew the story was right. She looked very young. I told her about your father, Mom said. I remained quiet. I didn't know how to feel. Surprised, angry, happy. I felt all of these emotions at the same time. Mom was quiet now too. I guess we were busy thinking to ourselves. Anna's chapter. Danielle wasn't able to come to my first playdate because of bad timing, but Jessica made it. We had a blast. Jessica's mom drove her over, but instead of dropping Jessica off and leaving, she came to her front door and accepted my mom's invitation for a cup of coffee. I was really glad. My mom never had anyone over, so it turned out to be her first playdate too. Maybe she was done praying for her mistake now. Maybe she was done paying for her mistake now. I sure hope so. And since I was the mistake, I felt like it was my fault that she was paying for it. I wanted to help her find any friend and a husband. That afternoon flew by. After Jessica and her mom left, Mom pulled me into a big hug. Those are genuine people, Anna, she said. You found a good friend there. You can get as close to her as you want. My mom's words made me smile. I hope Danielle could come the next time. I'm sure my mom would think the same of her. Danielle's chapter. Class meeting, Mr. Terupt announced. This was one of my favorite times in the classroom. We all moved our desks out of the way and made a circle with our chairs. Everybody sat in a circle, even Mr. Terupt. He held onto the microphone. It wasn't a real microphone, but we used it as our talking object. You can only speak when you have the microphone. I waited for Mr. Terupt to get us started. It looks like our chains should touch the floor soon. As long as you guys give me another great day or two, Mr. Terupt said. The chain was our class reward system. Mr. Terupt had hung a single link from the ceiling on the first day of school, and he attached the link each time we had an outstanding day as a class. Our goal was to get the chain to touch the floor, at which point we'd earn a free day. You've done super so far, Mr. Terupt said, so I'm wondering, what would you like to do for your free day? Mr. Terupt passed the mic to his left. You didn't have to say anything if you didn't want to. Alexia passed it along to the next person. Ever since Mr. Terupt had taken her out in the hall, she hadn't said a thing. Luke was the first one to make a great suggestion. Why can't we just have time to do whatever we want? I'd like to do indoor recess, but we could plan it better and just have free time. I like Luke's idea, Jeffrey piped up when he got the mic. If it's free time, maybe James and Joey and Emily or any of the collaborative kids could come up for a little bit. Or, if we wanted, maybe some of us could go down there. We could bring in games, Anna added, taking the mic. Then it was my turn. Well, I think we should do what everyone suggested for part of the day. I said, but maybe we could go outside too. Everyone cheered. It was weird having the other girls agree with me. Even if Alexia had been her old self, she would have controlled them. But now that Alexia was sidelined, all the girls got along a lot better. Not having girl wars didn't mean everything was perfect, though. I still had a problem. Anna. I hadn't gone to her play date because I'd been too chicken to ask my mom. I made up some excuse about it being a bad weekend for my family. Jessica told me she had a great time and that Anna's mom was friendly. Now Anna asked us about coming over again. Find out when it'll be a good weekend for your family, and we'll plan the next play date. Then, Anna told me. I've got to mention it to my mom this time. I just have to. Mr. Terupt was the last to speak at the meeting. I like what I've heard, he said. We could plan for part of the day to be spent inside, playing games, and then we can get some fresh air outside. I'll think about it a little bit more and let you know exactly what I come up with. But first, you need to earn the last link. Meeting adjourned, he said. He always ended by saying that. I really like these meetings. The first time we had one, Mr. Terupt told us that it was his way for everyone to have a voice. I didn't get it at first, but I get it now. Okay, we'll stop after this chapter. This is Peter's chapter. We finally earned a class reward, or almost. I really hoped Mr. T would come through for us about going outside, so I shot my hand up as soon as the class started the next day. What is it now, Peter? Mr. T said. Have you thought about us going outside? The school rules say we can't go outside in the snow. We can go out on the blacktop, but it's too crowded and there's nothing to do. Everyone was quiet. They listened because they knew I was right. Well, Peter, I like how you're thinking ahead. I did talk to Mrs. Williams, and she gave us special permission to go out in the snow as long as everyone has snow pants and hats and gloves and boots. She gave us special permission even after we all saw her underwear, I said. Yes, Mr. T said, trying to move us past the giggles that started. Permission for the snow? I asked again, just to make sure I heard it right. In the snow, Mr. Terupt said. The key being everyone needs to bring their stuff, or else we can't go out. I couldn't believe it. When I went to bed that night, I had visions of snowballs dancing in my head. It was going to be the best class party ever. All right. So this was a pretty good few chapters. I feel like a lot of positive things are happening. The only thing I'm worried about is Alexia's still not talking. I really hope she starts talking soon so we can figure her out. Otherwise, I hope you're enjoying the story, and I'll see you next time.